Hey everybody, Atlantic Beach, Florida. Here's my access that we painted this week. You can kind of see it's a little bit different weather today. So we did this beach, I painted this beach access this week, and it is at the beach access of 7th and Beach, and it's a beach access. So you can kind of check out. This is, you can see here that there are the two palm trees that you couldn't exactly see in the video where I was shooting. So check it out, and I hope you enjoy it and paint along, and if not, I hope you make your own thing, get your creative on, and thank you to the construction, more construction. Wave hi to the camera. All right. See you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye. And I brought all of my painting equipment outside today. It was a gorgeous day. Now, I've got plenty of traffic going by, so make sure you see all the surfers scoping out the waves and the families on bicycles. All right, here's my travel palette. And I have disposable palette sheets inside of there, which makes it really easy to travel with. I've already put my paints in there just for sake of convenience. And I'm getting ready to stain my canvas. So I have a paper towel, and I put some gloves on today just because I wanted to put it on really quickly. So you can see I have some turpentine there. Actually, I'm using Turpenoid, which is a odorless turpentine, and I have some yellow and cadmium red that I've made an orange, so I'm going to stain the sky in this orange type color. And I'm just fastening down my canvas because it's very windy. So I've stained the top part of the canvas, like I said, with the cadmium yellow and the naphthol red combination with lots of turpentine. And then I'm getting ready to stain the bottom part of the canvas with, I used a brilliant green and a phthalo green combination. Just they were next to each other on my palette, and I kind of liked the combination. So when you're working outside, you have to find spots to put all of your things. Usually it's on the ground because you don't have a table. So you'll see me bending down and around. All right, so here I'm taking my towel again, and I am wiping out the areas that I want to remain the lightest. So I'm looking at my composition. I'm seeing there's a wave there that's really white, and then the sand right in front of where the waves are. Those are going to be my lightest spots. So this guy here, I didn't know what they were doing immediately because, you know, I just moved to the beach. So he's down there and he's just going to watch the waves. He's scoping out the waves to decide whether it's good enough waves to come and surf. So in the course of this video, you'll see a lot of people doing that. They just come, they park, they look at the waves. So here I'm just looking at the composition. I'm trying to determine where I want to start. And usually the horizon line in a landscape is really an easy spot to start. So at this point, I have finished my stain on the overall canvas. I've determined where the horizon line is going to be, and I've also started to block in the general direction lines of where the landscape lays. And I'm also making decisions about what to include and what not to include in the painting, how far out the scope of my painting will go. So I thought that this was funny enough to share. When you're outdoors painting, sometimes you'll have birds or squirrels or nature or wind. In this case, I have people, lots and lots of people. Watch this family as they change the baby's diaper. I did not even notice. I was so fixated on the sky and the palm trees and trying to get my colors oriented. I did not even notice until later that they are changing the baby's diaper here. I think that's hysterical. But this is absolutely part of painting outside. You just never know what you're gonna get. So you can see in my painting, I have started to just kind of block in the palm trees. I haven't started to do any kind of like actual leaves because I'm just wanting the basic shape to be underneath. Otherwise, then you have just leaves and no kind of like shading underneath. So here I'm just starting to lay in the shadows that the different palm trees and the different foliage is casting over the top of this building, onto the sand and onto the rocks there. And so as the day progresses, those shadows become more blue-violet. At the beginning of my painting session, they were like a little more, I don't know, just less blue, I guess is what I would say. They were just not as prominent. And as the day went on, the shadows got more and more intense and more blue-violet compared to the, yellowish type cast of the sand that was in the sun. So you can see on my palette, I have kind of a big mass of this darkish color. And I've made these colors that were sort of ultramarine blue and my raw umber, which I always talk about using as my dark. And then I've added in some violet and I've added in some yellow. So that color plus the white is what I've used to actually make the sand color. So the sand is not in my painting white because I want to be able to show what is really, really white. The whitest part is that wave and that sand that's right there by the water is going to be my lightest light. So everything else is going to be darker than that. So even though the sand looks light, it still has ultramarine blue and raw umber and a little bit of yellow and a little bit of white, some combination of that. And it's not all the same color, so I've added in some marks to make it look a little bit lumpy because of all those people that have walked on it, nothing there is, super smooth. It's sand. So I'm just continuing to lay in those shadows, the shadows that go up that kind of wall and onto that grass. Then the other thing that was really tricky about this painting was the wall that was to my right. That proved to be difficult, but it turned out all right, but I just had to continue to fool with it over and over and over again. The bushes that are over there on the far right, you see there on the far right of the screen, there's that palm tree, and then there's that kind of bushes that are there. And they were really dark in comparison to everything else. So I kept trying to determine if they were dark enough, in comparison to the ocean. I think probably in retrospect, I could have made the ocean a little more pale than I did in my painting. I could make that a little bit paler compared to the dark of those bushes on the right, which are by far the darkest dark of the painting.